Hello friends, Fujosevich here, welcome back to another game of Hearthstone, and welcome to... Ooh, this is a very bad hand. Welcome to some Reno lock in our new post-Mean Streets of Gadgetzan world, and we're bringing a Kazakus Reno lock. Now, we have a second card in the Hearthstone world that gets the benefit from having only one of each card in your deck, so that's kind of cool. So... the general idea of this deck is to play a relatively controlling Reno lock like we normally would, and I think I will tap here, and then the deck basically relies on one of those big combos that the combo locks use, and most combo locks use Leroy Jenkins, but I don't have Leroy Jenkins, and I don't have the dust to craft him. Oh, that's somewhat upsetting, I want to say. I'll go ahead and Doomsayer here. I'm tempted to also play my 2/2 though. So, one of the interesting things about this deck is it does run a lot of healing, and it does run a lot of symmetrical healing. One of the new additions to Mean Streets of Gadgetzan is this card right here, the Mistress of Mixtures, which is going to help us out right here. So Death Rattle is that it restores 4 health to both players, very similar to what we saw with a Zombie Chow, where Zombie Chow was a 1-mana 2/3 and restored 5 health to the opponent. This is actually healing you as well, so this is actually kind of a buff. I know it has 1 less health, so it's not quite as strong, but it still trades reasonably well with most 2-drops, and in this situation here, kind of put our opponent in a bit of a interesting situation. If they try and trade off the Doomsayer, well, then they're going to be leaving up a 2/2, likely, although I guess Rogue does have access to some nice, useful 0-mana removal spells. And if they just let it go off, well then I'm going to heal up for the majority of the damage that they do this turn anyways, and then we know that next turn I'll get to heal up even more. So the interesting thing about this deck is you're either trying to win through attrition with Reno by kind of outvaluing them and having them use all of their burn, and then you heal back up and then they feel shame and they concede, or you can just eat a whole bunch of damage here by trying to tap a lot at the beginning, or you basically play Lord Jaraxxus and win that way, because Jaraxxus is great in the control matchup, because there's not much your opponents can really do against Jaraxxus. This has been an interesting turn, to say the least. So we have the option now of clearing the board, and I kind of want to take it because I'm worried maybe our rogue friend here is just going to be doing all sorts of crazy damage to us. The issue is we don't have a great follow-up, and our hand is now at 5 + 4 is 9, so we can't tap unless we guarantee we're playing something. And I guess we could tap into a Farseer, we could tap into another Doomsayer, but if our opponent is willing to be sapping a Doomsayer, maybe they're setting up for some double Cold Light Shadow Rager turn, in which case I'm just going to have to Hellfire afterwards anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. We'll attack in, even though it doesn't make a difference because of the Death Rattle, and then we'll heal up. So in terms of symmetrical healing, we also have things like the Tried and Tested and True. Whoa, that could be scary for us, but it's not going to be scary for us. So we'll just let the end be coming, and then we'll go ahead and heal up. So what we're trying to do here now is really, again, put pressure on our opponent with our Doomsayer, as well as developing a minion so that, oh boy, now things could be getting really out of hand. And that's okay, because we do have our kind of get out of jail for free card in the Twisting Nether. Although we are 1 turn away. We also do have the Abyssal Enforcer, which is going to kind of help us out here. Kind of the upgrade to the 6-mana version. So I'm trying to pay attention to what's going on here. And we have a miracle going on here in front of our eyes. And I think this deck list specifically at least, is kind of more geared towards, well, we get to take that out. And now we get a Conceal. So we really wish we had a coin. We really wish we had a coin here. We could actually Thaurissan. We do have our combo discounted. So this now becomes Reckless Rocketeer. With a Power Overwhelming becomes 9. With Faceless becomes 18. So we could Emperor. However, if we do Abyssal Enforcer, we do take out a 4-3 on board. So I think that's somewhat valuable as well for us. And probably a little bit unexpected. And because we are slowly running out of our AoE now, we don't want to be using... And I mean, we obviously couldn't have used Twisting Nether there last turn. But I think we'll be okay. Obviously, our opponent's going to have a whole bunch of mana. +3 attack. Oh boy. If that goes face... it's kind of bad if it goes face. If it just trades in after a little bit more of a miracle, I think we'll be okay. Oh boy, okay, so that's an interesting choice. And I think at this point we kind of have to go Thaurissan. Because a Sylvanas would basically, I think in my opinion, probably result in another sap. Or just a double trade. In this case, this can probably still be a double trade. And I think I will actually tap here. And now we do have a Shadow Flame with our Sylvanas, which is always a great combo to have. And it's also going to be useful for us to remember the fact that we always have 10 damage in hand. Oh, and he still went for the coin, which means we could be looking at more miracles coming up, which would be a bad thing. What is this? Death Rattle, summon a Jade Golem. Well, isn't that interesting that we might be actually looking at a Jade Golem deck and didn't know it this whole time? Oh boy, we could... That's actually really, really scary, the fact that it's... The fact that it's on the Death Rattle could make this very scary. So I think we need to be getting some face damage in now. Sooner than later, and I think we want to go Sylvanas, Acidic Swamp Ooze, Defender of Argus. Because I think we're going to need to save our Shadow Flame for later, and I really don't like Twisting Nether right now. Just because Twisting Nether into nothing else just leaves, you know, it leaves a board up for my opponent, which I don't like. And I think having Sylvanas on board when there's already... When our opponent does have stuff on board, I think that's pretty powerful. And they have Death Rattle effects, so, I mean, if Sylvanas gets sapped, then we're kind of sad, but that's basically the only card that we're really not happy to see right now. If it has to be some sort of hard removal, we can kind of live with that. Well, we know that's a possibility. We know over half of their deck has been gone through. We know that's also the last. That is in fact the last sap that they have. So now we can throw it down next turn and go for it. And there's another coin, so we are looking at a second miracle on our hands. Although if we do find a Reno relatively soon, we could be looking at... We could in fact be looking at a reasonable stabilization, I think. I think we could be okay here.
Thank you.
And now, yeah, the issue here obviously is unless we draw Mortal Coil to kind of ping this off, we're not going to be able to Sylvanas Shadow Flame. And now it looks like we're going to basically have to. Cost 2 less. So one of the big things with this deck list actually is the fact that it is very geared towards anti-aggro. Or it is a very anti-aggro style of deck. In that what we're doing here is we have things like a second rate Bruiser, as well as a, where is he on the list, Dirty Rat. And those two cards are just big taunts that can be played for relatively cheap, that have a lot of use at the early game when you're trying to combat the aggressive deck. Specifically, I guess right now, one of the major issues is Pirate Warrior. Sorry, I'm zoning out as I'm trying to figure this out. So I think we're basically stuck with a Sylvanas into Shadow Flame. So that Death Rattle triggers first because it was played first, and then my Sylvanas Death Rattle triggers, and we steal the 3/3. And so obviously now the issue is that our rogue friend here can start playing bigger and bigger threats. And yeah, this is interesting actually, having these unearthed... Oh boy. All sorts of craziness. Oh wow, okay, so we've run into a little bit of a problem, but I'm not really worried about this right now. I mean, obviously I'm not happy about it, but I think we can be okay for a few more turns. We have 2 + 3 is 5, + 3 + 1. We want to save our Twisting Nether for a bigger turn, and now basically we need to do our math and see, will we survive if we Reno this turn? Or if actually we need to see if we'll survive if we don't Reno this turn more specifically. So we have 8 mana left, so that's 3, 6, 7. So I think we can remove lots and lots of things, which will be good. So I think we'd probably want to start off by removing that and drawing 1 card. Then we can remove another 4 mana card. Although the issue is this 4 mana card actually produces a stronger card, so we don't want to be doing that, that's for sure. We also need to be getting some face damage in soon, because we will run out of options eventually. So I think maybe what we can do is just take out the 4. Then we'll take this out, because we don't want any issues with any sort of bonus coins going on. And we will hang on to the Mortal Coil. And I mean, I guess maybe double... It would have to be a pretty silly turn for us to be losing on this turn through Burst. Well, that would be one of the cards you need. Doubly Vis might do it. Doubly Vis, or what I'm thinking could happen is, oh, that's actually not bad for us. Oh, if he had traded in the 1/1, that would have been fantastic. Oh well. Lord Jaraxxus, are you what we need right now? No. No, you are not. So we're still quite a ways off, and I hate the idea of burning... my Twisting Nether, because I think we need to get a little bit more value out of it if possible. So I think we're going to go ahead and... the turn that I want to do, at least, is Reno Jackson here. So we would Reno... well, no, we would tap first for 2. Mortal Coil the 1/1, and then Reno, unless we get something else from our draws. Because that kind of stabilizes for a turn. If he does commit the rest of his hand, I'm hoping we can pop this Death Rattle and then Twisting Nether afterwards, is kind of the idea. And so we obviously want to tap first. And now we have our combo, so now we really want to be pushing for that if possible. So we can be rich now, which is awesome. We have our combo ready. For that's 5 plus 4, 9 times 2 is going to be 18. We are a little bit off though, so even if Reno survives here, we're off. Oh, this could go really, really poorly for us. Deal 2 damage and summoning more big guys. Is there any way to do this? We are 1 damage off lethal, aren't we? Because it sets to 19. How do we do this? How do we do this so we don't die? The issue is if we just Twisting Nether, Aya, and the Jade Swarmer. That's 8/8 and a 9/9. That's 17. This is 18. I don't think we win then. I don't know. Just you tell me, but I don't think we win. So what I think we can do is we can attack face, Siphon Soul this down, and play Imp Gang Boss. That leaves us at 21. 11, 16, 17, 18. That's at least less damage on board, and the fact actually we're not 21. We're going to be at 24 then. Actually, wait, what if we do 8 now? 8 is only 10. No, then he's going to have to leave. He's going to have to leave us up next turn as well. So depending on how knowledgeable our opponent may be in Hearthstone, unless they already have lethal. They could definitely have. I haven't seen Eviscerates yet, have we? If we haven't seen our Eviscerates, then we lose anyways. But if we've done the Twisting Nether, we lose for sure. Otherwise, we're going to win with our combo. So if our opponent doesn't know about the combo, we have a chance. But I don't think we've seen Eviscerates. Well, that, friends, is why we play the combo, even in a suboptimal form. Because sometimes you're still able to do a whole bunch of damage like we are here. And surprise our opponent from an incredibly high health total. So, thanks for hanging out with me, everyone. That's kind of how this deck works. This deck is really teched more towards aggro and combating the Pirate Warrior that's on the ladder right now. But if you enjoyed this video, feel free to subscribe for more. I'm hoping to probably upload one against an aggro deck to show you how it works. And I'll see you next time.